Hey, do you find yourself struggling to hit your cold call metrics or numbers that you should be hitting on a daily basis? You know the feeling. You get to the office, you have your coffee, you pull up your email, you make some small talk, maybe you make a few calls, and then you look at the end of the day and you've only hit half the number of calls that you should be making. What happened? This happens to all of us if we're being honest. But I got good news for you. I'm going to share in this video with you the science behind why this might be happening to you and how to actually improve your own self-discipline or tenacity or willpower. And then I'm going to also share just a quick routine that I do that's helped me stay pretty consistent at hitting my metrics. Hey, if you're new here, thanks for joining us. This is the Max Revenue Show. My name is Mike Salas. I'm a producer just like you in the trenches building my book. And our goal is simple, to help other producers build a book of business from scratch. If you like our content, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. It helps get the word out there, so we appreciate that. All right, let's get into this. All right, so I was listening to the Huberman Labs podcast, and Andrew Huberman had David Goggins on. If you haven't checked out the podcast, go check it out. But Huberman was talking about something called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. And basically what this means is this is a part of your brain that is directly associated with tenacity, willpower, discipline, right? And the brain basically does a cost benefit analysis and says, hey, should we do this or not? And the cool part is this part of your brain can grow, but also, like any other muscle, it can shrink if you don't use it. So the way it grows is pretty interesting. You have to do hard things, but not just hard things you actually don't feel like doing. So if you lift a ton of weight and that's really hard, but you enjoy it, you're not going to grow this part of your brain. However, if you don't enjoy it, you would grow this part of your brain. And in the research that they did on humans, the study came out. It was really interesting. Obese people, for example, had a much smaller, this anterior mid-cingulate cortex was much smaller in them than healthy people. Or athletes who are known to do extremely hard work, push themselves to the limits, this portion of their brain was much larger. Also, people that lived late in life had a much longer willpower, right? This part of their brain was much, much larger than people who died earlier. So that's really, really interesting. I think that's really encouraging, right? Because if you're struggling with discipline, that means that it's a muscle that you can actually grow. And but again, as I said earlier, any muscle you don't use can also shrink. So let's say you do something really, really hard for a week or so, and then you stop, and you say, I'm going to take the easy route. You don't push yourself. Well, this anterior mid-cingulate cortex starts to shrink. So that's the science behind it. It's really interesting. As I said, go check out the podcast. But now let's get into some things as a salesperson that you can do that are practical, can actually help grow this discipline or this tenacity trait or this willpower. So these are all things you've heard before, right? They're basic things. Things like exercise, things like running, lifting, meditation, fasting. Again, anything you don't like to do. And I would even say cold calling, right? If you don't like cold calling, every time you do it, you're probably growing this portion of your brain. You're growing your tenacity, your discipline. We all know this story, right? We take a week off for vacation. You come back, that phone feels like 1,000 pounds. Why is that? Because this anterior mid-cingulate cortex is shrunk, right? And you got to grow it back. So this is also really interesting, I think, if you're an insurance agent, because we all have that goal of like, yeah, I want to get my $1 million book, or I just want to hit 100,000 for the year and I'm good. And then if you hit it and you take off 2, 3, 4 months to get back into it is going to be so much more difficult. Or if you hit your $1 million book and then you lose clients out the back end, it's going to be so much more difficult to grow the older you get if you're not always using this part of your brain. This is why I think as you get older, it has nothing to do with age, but it gets harder to stay motivated because we kind of start to kick our feet up a little bit, right? And I'm not saying we got to be David Goggins style and go, running on a torn ACL or anything crazy, but just do things on a daily basis that you don't want to do. It can be little things. So I've been doing insurance for 13 years. I've been really, really consistent in hitting my numbers. And I think I want to share with you my routine because it's worked for me and I hope it works for you. But here's what I do every morning. And I'm not saying this is the only way to do things, but this will give you some framework of what my days look like. Try to get up around 5 a.m. So I'm getting up early. And then first thing I do, go downstairs, meditate for 10 to 15 minutes in silence. That's been a game changer for me in a lot of different areas of life. But at first, it was really, really difficult. I didn't actually like doing it. Now I enjoy it. So I guess it's technically not growing my discipline, but it still is helping me be aware and mindful. So, but then I get done with that. I read, pray a little bit, but then comes the part where I think I do grow my anterior mid-cingulate cortex, and that's the exercise portion. I actually do all my workouts at home. And since having kids, it's just a lot easier. And one of the people I got into was this guy that does a lot of calisthenics. So that's pretty much all I've done for the last year. But I realized by doing these holds, right, and using your body weight, it really is tough mentally because you don't ever feel like doing it. I'm talking things like maybe arm hangs, right? Put the timer on for a minute. Don't look at the clock. Try it once, or a hollow hold, right? Go look that up on YouTube. But it's like a hold for your abs and your core, or a squat hold, right? Just hold a squat, an air squat. Hold it down for 2 minutes. Try that sometime. You're going to notice your brain is going to really want to look at the time first of all, and it's going to be like, I want to stop after 30 seconds, 20 seconds. But I've realized when I do this every single day, you know, I get done and I'm energized to get into work, into the office, and to start making calls and to hit. And my cold call numbers are typically way more higher on the days I actually do this. I try to do this 5 days a week, but about 3 to 4 days are more of harder ones. I'll do like a 30 minutes, and then the other 2 days I might do like I just said, it might be a 5 to 10 minute, but it's just the stretches, but it's still the holds, and it's things that I just don't enjoy doing. So for me, that works, and I think that's helped grow my discipline. So I wanted to share that with you. I don't know what's going to work for you. I would just tell you, start doing stuff that you don't feel like doing. Go check out the Huberman podcast. It was really interesting insight. And again, if you like our channel, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know your thoughts. What do you do to grow your own tenacity? Good luck out there.